Welcome back to Bearcats Daily, everybody. I am your host, Blake Thornton, aka Swiss Roll. Happy to have you back here, and we are here today. We're going to talk a little bit. We got some baseball updates. We had a great wild weekend out there for baseball. Go a little UC football history. Something came up the other night at work, and really got my mind thinking. I want to share it with y'all as well. But let's get to the diamond real quick. Our UC baseball team has been rolling. Absolutely rolling. They get a sweep down in Houston against a ranked opponent in a very crucial part of the season over the weekend. 3-game series. They take all 3 games. 3-2, 8-1, and 4-3. Some clutch pitching went on this weekend from our pitching staff. No doubt about it. Keeping Houston in check, who's got very hot bats. The Big 12 itself has 5 teams currently ranked, including UC, who is ranked 20th right now. So really exciting to see them coming into their own as this season winds down and we get towards the tournament. During the series, game 3, it was 4-3. Actually, UC was down in the 9th inning, top of the 9th. Sophomore Derek Pitts had the clutch bat of the weekend to help close out this sweep. In the top of the 9th, he hits a 2-run home run that gives them the lead. Houston does battle back in the 9th inning. Bottom of the 9th to tie the game. Game goes to extras. In the top of the 11th, Derek, once again, clutch as ever, hits a RBI double. Hustling the entire way, actually stretched it to a double. Could have been a single, but he decided to push the effort a little bit. Got into second on a double, and that was all it took. UC goes down and gets a sweep right out of the gate. With only a few games left, every game matters. They're fighting for an at-large bid, so really hope to see this continue. They do have a game today against Oral Roberts, and then they are going to go to Kansas State for 3 games on the road, and then to finish the season, our Bearcats are coming home to play Texas Tech at home, 3 games to close out the season. It will be interesting to see what happens with that as we continue, because they are, like I said, they are battling to make the College World Series. Last year, they went 33-26 and got an at-large bid into the College World Series. They played in the Knoxville Regional. They did not win out, obviously. They did wind up losing, but they made it with an at-large bid with a record of 33-26. Now, right now, they are on pace to obviously finish better than that. They are 32-17 currently. Seems like that should be a good enough to get them in the dance again, and I wouldn't want to play UC right now. They're hitting well, they're pitching lights out, and they're fielding. They're making some defensive plays behind these guys that are just incredible. Going up, robbing home runs. We had a highlight catch over the weekend. I want to say that was the second game of the doubleheader. Center fielder going up and just robbing one, bringing it back, keeping it in play. So really excited for these guys. We'll kind of keep you updated on how they go moving forward. For sure, it's been an exciting baseball season. Last couple years, actually, for UC. They've really begun to show and kind of come into their own in terms of competing in the Big 12, which is a very, very competitive baseball conference. So very excited to see them doing that, and I hope it will continue, just like UC's football has been continuing to win on a pretty regular basis for the most part, but that really wasn't always the case. You know, for those of you who are lifelong Bearcats fans, and probably older than me, I mean, I was born in 95, so I wasn't necessarily conscious of UC's history as a football program, but discussions at work the other night were brought up that at the time, early 2000s, 90s, 80s, UC was primarily a basketball school. That's pretty much what UC was built on for modern history. We'll say modern history, say, after 1970, we'll say. Bob Huggins was a big part of that. UC's basketball team was competitive. They were moving. Kenyon Martin coming to town in the late 90s. UC basketball that was what it was. And to get season tickets, they made you buy football tickets. So they were really trying to get people in the building any way they could. So it was not a good time for football, if we're being honest. Before the year 2000, UC historically only played in 4 bowl games. They played in 4 bowl games in their entire history. They started out in 1885, and they played 4 bowl games. Out of those 4, they got 3 wins, so nothing to be upset about there. They did win quite a few bowl games, but 1947 Sun Bowl. From 1947, they beat Virginia Tech. All right, we got a win there. 1949, they played the Glass Bowl and beat Toledo. And then in 1951, they play a Sun Bowl against West Texas A&M and wound up losing. And then no bowl games until 1997. They play in the Humanitarian Bowl, which they did win over Utah State. I believe that final score was 31-17. So really, let's look at the grand picture. UC football was just not something that people paid attention to. They had to give away tickets to get people to go. There was really no consistent winning at the time. You had a little bit in the mid 70s. Tony Mason came in as a head coach, and for about 4 years, it was really building a program, and they were kind of getting consistent. Their best record became 8-3 in 1976, but then it pretty much faltered. There just really was no consistency to the program. Up, down, up, down. People just weren't on board with it. They weren't drawing recruits. It really didn't go well until Rick Minter came in and became the head coach. And Minter spent 10 seasons here in Cincinnati and really helped bring a more consistent vibe to the school's program for football that was really just dying. It needed it. You have to have consistency to build a good program. That's why you look at some of these historically successful programs like Bama, Ohio State, we'll go down the list. But all the things that play into it are a consistent coaching staff, a good coaching staff too, which unfortunately back then, UC was not a place where good coaches stayed. And up until modern history, recently, it's pretty much the same case. So Rick Minter comes in, builds a little bit of consistency, and kind of brings us into today, modern. Which, good Lord, do they need it. But you also have to remember, UC really played more as an independent school in football. We weren't always in a conference. From 1970 to 1995, they really just kind of bounced around. Between independent and conference, they just did not have a direction for the program, and it was a struggle, to say the least, to see. So, UC was not always a football school, obviously. That's the main conclusion we're drawing. UC was not a football school. It was basketball. 100%. But, things started changing. Minter comes in and starts building a program that is consistently recruiting guys. They have a consistent coaching staff. He was here for, close to 10 years, getting guys in the building, willing to play. And then we hit the year 2000 and things start to turn for the better, which I think is what has brought our program into what it is today. I can promise you, if the changes don't happen and we don't have our history, I'm not sitting here doing this show, at least not about football, because we may not even have a football program. But they come into 2000. We're going to go new millennium with it. You come into 2000, you join Conference USA for football. All right. They go right into a conference, which again, at the time, was mostly about basketball. Conference USA was a basketball. Same way with the Big East. Wasn't really known for football, but they had good football teams. But basketball was where it was really at that point. And as somebody who got to sit, front row for the prime Big East years in basketball, I can assure you that's what it was there for. The football team just became part of it. But from 2000 to 2004, they're in the Conference USA. Obviously, they make the jump to the Big East until 2012 after that. Big East then kind of falters and teams leave, and then you go into the American from 2013 to 2022. And then as of now, as we all know, UC is in the Big 12. So it really was an interesting run because UC was not doing anything. They were not showing any sort of prowess for a football program. And getting out of Conference USA was a big help for that. I think that was the first step, along with getting, coaches in the building, things of that nature. But for example, from 2008 to 2012, UC was the only FBS automatic qualifying school to win 4 conference championships in 5 years. Only school. That is massive success and continuing success for multiple years for these guys. And it puts UC back on the map. We're under Brian Kelly. We're playing in the Orange Bowl. We're playing in the Sugar Bowl. We're finally back in the spotlight for the country. They had won, let me make sure I have my notes right. Sorry, guys. There it is. So they go on to win 4 of those, 2008, 2009, 2011, 2012. All championships. Massive success. Now, Brian Kelly wasn't there for, the back two because he said, hey guys, I know I coached y'all well enough, but I'm going to Notre Dame. Bye. We've all been there, done that, talked about that, beat that like a dead horse. So, we're not going to go too deep into it, but hey, it is what it is. So, even after he leaves, we have a down year, but hey, we come back in 2011, they win again, and in 2012. So, there was a lot of success we're seeing. Prior to that, they'd only won 2 conference championships in the Conference USA, and that was 02 and 04. But there's an asterisk with that 02 because they were co-champions. I don't like that. Co-champions really doesn't mean anything if we're really talking about it. So, we'll chalk that one up. But then they go into the American Conference. They win 3 championships, 2014, 2020, and 2021, which obviously 2021, 13-0 with Fickle, back-to-back conference championships, and they go on for the first ever Power 5 team to make the college football playoff against Alabama. They went 13-0. In 2008 and 2009, they go 12-1. And they've had 20 bowl appearances since that Humanitarian Bowl. 20. Think about that. In 26 years, we have had 20 bowl appearances with about a 9-11 record. Now, it's not a great bowl record, but for a program that wasn't making bowl games, that really was just, for lack of a better term, children of the poor, we have really had our success in modern day. At least in my lifetime, I have experienced the rise and success of this program. Regardless of where we're at now, it is better than where we were. There's no doubt about it. We have come on the way up in that time frame. 20 bowl wins. And that is with a college football playoff. That's with 2 BCS bowl games. And it really, UC paved the path for smaller schools to get national spotlight. Because you got to remember, with UC was really the first team to start making waves at that point. West Virginia was up there. They had that Pat McAfee, Pac-Man Jones, a couple other guys. West Virginia had a good program too. But then you started seeing schools like Boise State. You started then at present day, UCF coming into this. We know their history, and they got removed from the playoffs and put up that fake national championship banner on their school. But you really started seeing a lot of schools start coming into it that you normally didn't. We were breaking that SEC, Big Ten, Pac-12 mold and starting to see more. And I think UC played a big part in that. Do I give them all the credit? No, but I think that you have to look at our current success and where we've come since the year 2000 to where we are now. You're selling out Nippert at least 5 or 6 times a year. And it's become one of the toughest places to play. Prime time at Nippert, no school wants to play prime time at Nippert. No way. Why would you? That's like saying, yes, I'd like to go into just a dangerous environment or go walk through OTR in the middle of the night. Yeah, it's a little extreme, but you get my point. So you have to be happy. If you look at the whole picture of what this program is and what it has become, you have to be happy with what you're looking at because it could be worse. We could go back to the days of you want to go to a basketball game or baseball game? Guess what? We're going to throw in football tickets for you, and you got to go. Okay. Now people want to go. People are buying tickets, getting season tickets, and it's so exciting to see. And we need it to continue because now that we're in the Big 12, we have the spotlight. Everything's in front of us. All we have to do is perform with what we have and build a consistent program with guys that want to stay. Modern day college football, there's a lot of transfers. You're going to lose people, but if you can keep guys in the building with a good coaching staff, a good program, and they've already updated the facilities, we should never see the days that came before Rick Minter or with Rick Minter as well. I don't want to go back to those days. It's fun when you're winning, and it's fun being a fan. I love being a fan. I love that I get to do this and just spout nonsense on YouTube for you guys. And thank you very much to Fan Art for that. Fan Art giving me the chance to run this show. I love being able to talk with you guys about our favorite school, about our favorite sport. There's nothing better. And I hope you are enjoying it as well. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button, leave your thoughts and comments. I'd love to hear some of your memories from the early days of UC football before all this, before Brian Kelly? What do you remember as fans when you used to watch football? If you did, and if you didn't, be honest. Yeah, I didn't watch football. I was cheering on basketball the whole way. Football really was never on the radar. And that's okay. It happens. It's all part of it. So please, love to hear memories, love to hear your thoughts. Any feedback, anything like that, leave in the comments. We'll talk about it on the show. Until next time, y'all, appreciate you tuning in.